Yeah, I'm recording. Oh, 你看，yeah, 你可 always here in the shop.
Okay, here we are at another seminar here at Oz Hair, one of our regular monthly seminars. And to this month, our topic, as you can see here, are hair loss drugs safe to use, and are there any better options? So that's what we'll do today. We'll go through and look at this topic. We'll look at some of the drugs commonly used in hair regrowth today, and we will also introduce an option that we think that we believe is a good option, particularly a safe and effective option for hair regrowth. So we'll go through a quick rundown of what we'll cover this evening. So firstly, we'll introduce the most common hair loss drugs on the market, and we'll discuss a little bit about those. Then we'll look at some real cases of side effects that we've had come into our clinic and share their some people that have actually shared their experience with us. We'll present what their experience was using the pharmaceutical hair regrowth products, and we'll then go to looking at how our treatment, which is a all-natural herbal treatment, how that can actually help to regrow your hair, and then we'll discuss some anticipated results for our treatment as well. So firstly, with pharmaceutical hair regrowth treatments, your two main products on the market are minoxidil and finasteride. So minoxidil is the medication that's externally applied to the scalp, and basically, without getting into too much scientific detail, basically the way it works is it opens up the blood vessels in the scalp. So it's what we call a vasodilator. It just opens up the blood vessels and gets more blood into the scalp tissues. And your second drug is finasteride. That's a medication which is actually needs to be prescribed by a medical practitioner, and it's taken usually as a tablet. And its function is to block DHT, which is a sort of a byproduct of testosterone. Testosterone combines with another enzyme and produces DHT, and the DHT builds up around the base of the hair follicle and tends to put pressure on the blood flow to the hair, and which obviously causes problems with the health of the hair and also the hair actually growing normally. So then you get thinning of the hair and eventually thinning and baldness. So anyway, these are your two major drugs. Minoxidil is the externally applied medication. Finasteride is taken internally. All right, but let's go through and look at minoxidil in terms of its side effects. So we've got adverse such as blurred vision, chest pain, dizziness, irregular heart rate, swelling of the face, and rapid weight gain. So this is, as I mentioned before, it's one of the common pharmaceutical medications on the market for hair regrowth. You can commonly find this type of medication over the counter at your local pharmacy. So, going back to the original topic, are these pharmaceutical drugs safe? Well, the symptoms I've just read out, that doesn't seem to suggest that there definitely are some things to be concerned about. Some of those side effects I've just mentioned are quite serious. Not everybody will suffer from them, but these are common side effects that are reported with this medication. I mean, this information is available freely online. Certainly don't take our word for it. Please go and do your own research on it. But, that's the drug minoxidil, one of the major hair regrowth medications used. It's applied externally. Is it safe? Well, have a look at those symptoms and make up your own mind. Let's move on to finasteride. Finasteride is the medication, hair regrowth medication taken internally. I'll go through some safety reports regarding this medication. Firstly, the Swedish Medical Products Agency has classified finasteride as causing irreversible sexual dysfunction. So is this drug safe? The MHRA in the UK, or the Medical Health Regulatory Authority, has stated that this medication causes persistent or can cause persistent erectile dysfunction. Is it safe? The 2011 version of the Merck manual, which is basically a GP's desk reference for medications, has stated a warning about erectile dysfunction. Is this medication safe? If you're a male, you'd probably be thinking you'd probably be looking at another option at this stage, but I'll keep going. The FDA, the United States FDA, has reported 678 cases of post-treatment sexual dysfunction. 678 cases of post-treatment sexual dysfunction with use of this drug. Is it safe? I'll let you make up your own mind. Let's continue with finasteride with some other side effects. We've already gone through the some of the sexual dysfunction side effects that can occur with finasteride use. Here are some of the other ones: chills and cold sweats, mental confusion, dizziness, unusual weight gain or weight loss, tingling of the hands and feet, swelling of the face, arms, legs and feet, skin rashes. Is it safe? Please do further research yourself. As I said, don't take our word for it. Please do your own investigation into these hair regrowth drugs before you embark on a pharmaceutical hair regrowth program. That's certainly our suggestion. We're not saying don't go ahead with it, but we really want people to understand the risks associated with it, because a lot of people that come to us that have gone through the pharmaceutical, hair regrowth regime have, sort of come and they've let us know that they weren't aware of any of these issues with taking these medications. And these are people that were prescribed these types of drugs for quite long periods of time, some of them 2 and 3 years. So obviously these people were a little bit confused as to why they weren't made aware of the risks by either their doctor that prescribed the medications or by the people that sold them the medication over the counter. So yeah, they're your two drugs, minoxidil and finasteride, the main sort of treatments in pharmaceutical hair regrowth. What I'll do now is I'd like to go through a few case studies. These are real cases of people that have come into us and shared their story with us. So we'd like to share that with all of you this evening. So case one is a young gentleman by the name of Sean, aged in his late 20s, suffering from androgenetic alopecia, which is basically your common male pattern thinning. His previous treatments included minoxidil and finasteride. He used those for a couple of years. And we'll go through some of the side effects that he experienced. So after 12 months, he mentioned that he noticed reduced sex drive, mentioned that his energy levels had decreased significantly, and that he often felt depressed. I remember him telling me that he did go back and spoke to the practitioner that had recommended this treatment to him, and they weren't too concerned about it, and certainly didn't want to mention that it could have been the medication he was taking for his hair that was causing that, which was quite disappointing. But the reality is that these side effects are actually quite common adverse reactions of using those types of medications, particularly the finasteride. So just to review, go through what his experience was. Obviously, experiencing those type of side effects, he started looking for a safer alternative, and he found us here at OzHair through a family member who recommended. I think the family member had recommended us because they had used our products before and got some good results with those. So yeah, he was happy to start a program with us, and he ended up going on to initially a 2-month program. And I'll go through his results quickly. Hopefully you can see that good on your screens. We'll take more note of the magnified photos. Might be a bit easier to see those on the screen. That's the before shot there. A couple of months later, we can see that the hairs, this is the same shot of the same point on the scalp as that one 2 months later. Probably even less than 2 months. And as we can see, the hairs in the same part of the scalp are actually thickening up. They're getting darker, particularly over this side, and they're getting not just darker, but they're getting thicker as well. And there's generally more hair in this area than there was before. Now, that's not necessarily new hair regrowth, because in 6 to 8 weeks you're not going to get a great deal of visible hair regrowth under sort of that you'd see quite clearly with the naked eye. But the existing hair will improve in condition, and they'll start to stand up more. They'll become more erect, and as they stand up on the scalp more, then that's going to give the appearance of a thicker head of hair, and particularly those areas that are thin, they'll start to thicken up as well. So yeah, that's the result. But this young gentleman was obviously he wanted to continue on with his hair, with keeping his hair in good condition, sort of stopping any excessive hair loss, and also regrowing some as well. So he's happy to do that long term. He knows that it is a lifelong process, but he certainly feels a lot more comfortable today, using an all-natural herbal product that we provide here, and he's still able to get the result in quite a short period of time. So what I'll do now is I'd like to let you have a listen to his story. I've got an audio file where we'll allow you to listen to what his experience was on the pharmaceutical medication and how he came to us, and let him share his thoughts with you on that.
Hi Sean, thanks so much for coming in today. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, no problem at all.
So how long have you been using hair regrowth treatments for?
I started off actually, it's been about 3 years, 3.5 years. Well, I started off at Ashley and Martin in this program for about 2 years. And I've since been using the Oz Hair program for about 3 or 4 months.
Oh, great. And when you were using the Ashley Martin's treatment, did you experience any side effects with that?
I did. The program did work for me. I did regrow my hair. However, the medication that I was using at Ashley Martin I did go through a little bit of depression. Also, my energy levels weren't the same, and I'd lost my sex drive. So, well, some of my sex drive, it wasn't as good as what it used to be. And then, so yeah, I stopped using Ashley Martin, and after receiving advice from the Ashley Martin doctor to back off the medication. After backing off the medication, and seeing the change in myself, in how I felt, and my energy levels and my sex drive coming back, I decided to actually quit the program altogether. Yeah.
Right. And so why did you start using herbal hair regrowth treatments?
I was probably, after quitting Ashley Martin, I didn't want to put all the hard work of regrowing my hair to waste, and I was looking into a few other programs. I really tried to push to find something natural, and it was actually by chance that I found the Oz Hair program, because my father had used it in the past, and he received a pamphlet and passed it on to me, and that's when I read about the products. I did a little bit more research on the medication and used by Oz Hair, and that's when I set an appointment to come down and meet with you guys and get a bit more information on the products and the program.
Okay, and how have you been going so far with the treatment?
The treatment's been working well. I've noticed from quitting the Ashley and Martin program, I haven't felt any different energy levels from using the Oz Hair products. My hair feels stronger, looks healthy, and from the results of the before and after from using the program, I can see that there has been improvement and regrowing and also strengthening from the roots. And it was also good to see the before and after, because you don't get those zoom ups at Ashley and Martin. It's sort of just headshots from afar. So it was actually really interesting to see even the scalp conditions. So I've been really impressed with the Oz Hair program.
Okay, Sean. Well, look, thanks again for your time today, and good luck with the rest of your program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that was one of our clients, Sean, sharing his experience, and he did make an interesting point about the way we do our photo comparison, that we do use magnified photo images so that you can see the change on a deeper level, on a closer. We do those up close shots of the scalp, so we can really show people what's going on at the root level of the hair. So that's especially important in the first 2 to 3 months of treatment, where you may not see an extreme amount of hair regrowth, because that's just not the way it works. You need more time to get the really serious hair regrowth. But in the first couple of months, by using those magnified images, we can show what's going on with the hair roots, and show that there is some change that we can see when using a magnified image, but it's just a matter of time before those small changes grow. You see that small hair regrowth coming up, or the hair is actually darker in color, it's looking stronger, the texture's improved. These are the sort of signs that we look for to show our clients the change that our treatments are doing for them. And that's the evidence is there. The photos, those magnified images, don't lie. They really do tell the story. So that's one thing we believe we do well here at OzHair, is to use those photo comparison, both normal view and magnified view photos. So that's our first case. Case 2, another gentleman who had a problem with using pharmaceutical medications. This man is aged in his early to mid 50s, also experiencing androgenetic alopecia, and he used minoxidil. That's the externally applied pharmaceutical medication for hair regrowth, and he's used that for about a week. And we'll go through his story now. So, as I mentioned, it was about 1 week. So within 6 to 7 days, he noticed on using the product that the skin on his fingers began peeling off. So this obviously caused some concern for him. He was, just wondering, well, if this is happening to his fingers, he sort of was wondering what was going on with his scalp, because he was applying a fair bit of the product to his scalp. So what he did was he stopped using the drug, and I think he went back to his pharmacy where he purchased the product and just said, this is happening and my fingers are peeling. Is there anything you can do? And they just said, look, there's not a lot we can do. That's probably one of the effects of the product, one of the side effects of the product. So he stopped using the product and then started looking for another alternative. He walked past our clinic here in Chadstone and came in, had a chat to us. We did a scalp analysis for him as part of a consultation, and then we got him onto a 2-month program, which he was extremely pleased with the result after 2 months. I hope you can see shot there. Let's focus more on the crown, which should be a lot clearer. There's the before shot there, and there's the after shot. This is the back view of the crown, and as you can see there, that crown area is looking a lot fuller. Now, once again, in a couple of months, he hasn't regrown a lot of hair, because remember, in 2 or 3 months, we're not going to regrow a great deal of hair. But the existing hair that he did have at this time has just improved in condition so much that it's standing up a lot more. The colour's darkened. The thickness of the roots has improved. That it's actually thickened up the appearance of the hair at the back on the crown there. So a really good result in a couple of months, and he was obviously very happy with being able to do this in a relatively short period of time, but also with a product that's safer, and he never had problems with his fingers the skin on his fingers peeling anymore, which he was probably more more pleased with. But obviously still he was also very pleased with the result. So I'd like to share his story with you now, and he's got a little testimonial video that I'll put up for you and let you have a listen to.
My name is Kishore. I started my treatment here in May, but I would like to share something with you before I start this treatment. I started with the pharmaceutical treatment before doing this treatment. I saw this ad on TV about regain foam, and I thought it's something better than just easy to apply and use. So I got the treatment. I went to the pharmacy and bought the foam and I said, start using it. I started using it, and within 6-7 days, I found that the skin of my fingers was peeling off. So I thought to myself, if that's happening to me on my fingers, so what will be the state of my scalp? So I said nothing, and he said, I don't want this. I went back to them and I said, see, this is what is happening. I don't want this product. I returned it back. And then once when I was just crossing this road, I saw this board here in Australia, hair and scalp clinic. So I said, might as well just come here and see what treatment I can get. So when I came and met Louis, he said, let's have a scalp analysis done. So he saw my scalp thing and he said, okay, let's start with the 2-month treatment. So I started with the 2 months treatment, and before I started the treatment, you can see the baldness patch, it was quite huge. And within about a few weeks, I could see a lot of improvement, And 2 months time, you can see the difference, the patch is almost filling up. So after that, I said, it's really good, it's really helping me, and now I'm going to start with the 8 months treatment. So that's published.
Okay, yeah, that was just Mr. K sharing his experience with, his negative experience with the pharmaceutical hair regrowth product. That was the one he used was the one that is applied externally to the scalp, and he was obviously having some troubles with the skin on his fingers. So yeah, as I mentioned before, he's very pleased after he came onto our program. Got a very good result in 2 months and without any more troubles with his fingers. I'll go through one more case now. This was a young lady that came in to us probably about 18 months ago now, age in her early 30s. She was suffering from a different condition to the first 2 cases that we've discussed. Hers was a condition called alopecia areata, which is not the genetic type of hair loss. This is more of a immune system problem where the immune system attacks the hair follicles and stops the normal hair regrowth, the hair growth cycles. And she was recommended to use minoxidil, the external medication, the external pharmaceutical treatment. And unfortunately, she had a very severe reaction to this medication. She experienced very severe facial swelling. And it was quite, obviously, as you could imagine, quite distressing for her, because she was already suffering with her condition of losing her hair, losing a considerable amount of hair, and obviously to have that facial swelling as well on top of that, just meant that she was obviously extremely embarrassed to go outside for not sure exactly what period it was. I imagine it was a few days, but it probably would have caused her a lot of distress. And even more, even giving her more intense feelings of helplessness, because she'd got obviously sought out this medication to help her problem, and instead it's created this this nasty side effect. Anyway, we got her onto our program as well, and she was very happy with the result, and no more problems with any side effects of especially that that problem there with the facial swelling. So yeah, that's just a few cases that we've experienced, people that have come into us and shared their stories with us, and we feel that's important to share it with you, a person that might be considering a hair regrowth program, and maybe you're still deciding which way to go. I think it's important that you hear these stories before you sort of decide which way you want to go. So yeah, that's the pharmaceutical sort of hair loss approach. Now we'll look now, are there any better options available out there? Well, what I'll do for the last part of this presentation is I'll discuss one option that we've had a lot of experience with, and that's using the approach that we use here at OzHair, the herbal follicular activation method. So it is an all natural herbal treatment, and basically that involves this treatment approach involves a combination of home use and in-clinic treatments that firstly stop and control any excessive hair loss. It cleans and unblocks the scalp pores. It activates and nourishes hair follicles. And lastly, helps to reduce hair follicle sensitivity to DHT. I mentioned DHT a little bit earlier in the presentation. That's the main hormone that is responsible for a lot of the male and female pattern type thinning. So these treatments actually help to control that DHT build up, and also the sensitivity of the hair follicles to that hormone. What I'll do now is I'll give you a bit of a rundown on this type of treatment and a quick review of the pharmaceutical, or some of the issues we have with pharmaceutical hair loss treatments.
Hair regrowth through herbal follicular activation. Medical hair loss centres use a very limited form of hair loss treatment, such as the drug finasteride, which reduces male hormone levels. Unfortunately, male hormone levels are only one of many other factors that cause hair loss. Further problems with finasteride use include decreased sex drive in males and a slow therapeutic response time, whereby it takes 6 to 12 months for visible results. Note that finasteride is not suggested for use in women because of possible side effects. Minoxidil is another medical hair loss treatment that only works temporarily. Once use stops, hair loss occurs again, and often worse than before. Side effects of minoxidil include swelling of the face, blurred vision, chest pain, irregular heartbeat, rapid weight gain, and increased hair loss. Because there's so many different medical causes of hair loss, doctors often focus on treating the disease only. Unfortunately, these treatments usually do not regrow the patient's hair back, and this results in delayed treatment for the actual hair loss. At the Australian Hair and Scalp Clinic, we regrow your hair through a totally non-invasive process called herbal follicular activation. This involves both in-clinic and home use treatments to stop excessive hair loss, clean and unblock scalp pores, then activate and nourish the hair follicles. Herbal follicular activation is much like turning your car key to start the engine. It actually ignites and activates the sluggish and dormant hair follicles by providing more oxygen and essential nutrients to the follicle base. This creates ideal conditions for new hair growth. Unlike pharmaceutical hair loss treatments that may result in serious health risks, our all-natural multi-therapeutic approach works both internally and externally to achieve optimum results. Our hair regrowth programs are recognised as the fastest and safest and most effective solutions for hair loss control and recovery. By combining centuries of Chinese herbal knowledge with modern science, we've created a safe, drug-free treatment that's suitable for men, women and children. After just 2 to 4 weeks, you'll achieve new hair regrowth at a microscopic level. After 2 months, you'll achieve visible new hair growth. Our treatment programs are for 8 months. This is the time period that we usually see the most dramatic results. Most of our clients continue on to further programs for even better results and also to maintain their newly grown hair.
I used the products 1 year ago and I'm so happy with the results. I now don't have a problem with hair loss. I would certainly recommend the 101 treatment process and products for those serious about hair regrowth.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm alopecia sufferer for approximately 1 year. I've attended a specialist and they've tried to recover my symptoms with pharmaceutical medicine, but it was proven to be unsuccessful because I was still suffering from hair loss and shedding a lot of hair. And there was one point where I almost lost all my hair. And after 3 to 4 months, I've gained about 80 to 90% of my hair back. And I recommend anybody who is suffering from alopecia to come down to the Australian Hair Clinic to have a trial.
He grew about 80%, and I'm so happy. So I come to treatment myself.
Congratulations on finding the Australian Hair and Scalp Clinic with our all-natural treatments and incredibly fast results. We look forward to seeing you soon at our clinic in Chadstone Shopping Centre for Fashion Capital.
Okay, so just a bit of a summary there on a bit of an introduction to what we do and also a bit of a review about the pharmaceutical, a couple of cases of pharmaceutical hair treatments where people had some problems with their use. So yeah, we're on herbal follicular activation. So this treatment reignites the hair follicles. I'll just go through some of the steps, some of the common sort of steps that we find with our treatment. This will just give you a bit of an idea on how it sort of works. So as you can see in this shot here, we've got the hair sort of sitting very flat on the scalp. They're quite sort of light in colour. And they're quite thin as well. And you know, usually that's sort of an exaggerated version of what we see in people when they first come to us, but it just sort of highlights what we're trying to achieve later. So with application of our products and also our in-clinic treatments, what we find is that the hair starts to thicken. It gets darker as well, as you can see in this shot, and you know, begins to stand up more. As the hair stands more erect on the scalp, it'll actually give the appearance of more hair, because that part of the scalp will, you know, the hair will look thicker and fuller. So that's obviously what we're trying to achieve. So you know, that's even with existing hair, that's still very useful. I showed some photos before of people that were getting results in the first couple of months, and that was mostly the existing hair that was became thicker, darker, and was standing up a lot more. So it really did thicken up those previously thin areas. And obviously, then the final stage is what we want: the hair standing up as close to, you know, fully as possible. Nice thick roots, nice thick shafts of the hair, and nice and dark hair as well. One of the positive another positive effect of our treatment is that your hair often darkens as well. So if you've got any greys, the hair's starting to lighten up, this treatment's quite helpful to give you that sort of the darker colour, get your hair looking darker as it was many years before. So I'll go in a little bit now about what the treatment involves. I mentioned before that the herbal follicular activation system is a sort of a double approach where we use products at home and also here in the clinic. So your home use program, you'll be using some herbal liquid tonics that you'll apply to the scalp, usually morning and evening. We've also got some, so I'll show you what that type looks like. So these are the products that we use there. So it'll be something like this, maybe not exactly these ones, but these are some of the ones that we do use. So you'll be applying that to your scalp twice a day. You'll also be taking some herbal tablets as well, these ones here. You'll be using 2 of those morning and evening, so that's four tablets in total per day. And this hair formula here is actually comprised of 14 Chinese herbs. 7 of them are directly for your hair health and hair regrowth. And the other 7 herbs are actually adaptogenic herbs, which are used as a general body tonic to help the body cope better with stress and both mental and physical stress. And used as a tonic, the idea is to strengthen the internal organ functions, so that if the internal systems in the body are working better, then the hair, usually good hair health will follow. So it's a very good combination of herbs, because it attacks the problem from directly giving nutrition to the hair, but also nourishing and sort of promoting the function of the internal physiology as well, to further support hair health and hair regrowth. And then we've got also got a shampoo that we use, that's used as well more as a cleansing, more to sort of cleanse, usually used every second day. And we also give some peachwood combs as well, to use your own sort of self scalp massage as well, to use once or twice a day, just to help further stimulate blood circulation on top of the other treatments that I've mentioned. Also, if people are interested, we have in-clinic treatments as well, where we use therapies such as deep steam cleaning. We use scalp massage. We use infrared heat, laser, and electrostimulation to help sort of reactivate the hair follicles. And we do all that here in clinic. It takes about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, so it's quite a detailed and very thorough treatment. So with those 2 approaches combined, that's usually how we get our best results. So if people have got the time, we usually recommend them to come in and choose a program that incorporates some form of in-clinic treatment, because you're going to get that extra stimulation with all those therapies that I've just mentioned. But keep in mind, your home use program is your basic treatment. You need, if you do nothing else, you'll at least need to do. If you don't do clinic treatments, you'll at least need to do the home use treatment. That's your basic. That's your starting point, and the clinic treatments are more of an add-on for better results and faster results. So I'll just go through again, comparing what we do to the pharmaceuticals and why we believe the others fail with their hair regrowth treatment model. Just a couple of main points from this chart here. This is our herbal follicular activation system. That's the common pharmaceutical treatment. And I guess the main point that I'd like to quickly discuss from here is that with our treatments, with the herbal follicular activation approach, you are getting that deep cleansing of the scalp, which in the pharmaceutical approach you're not getting any of that. And the reason why that's important, there's a couple of important reasons why you should be interested in having a deep deep scalp cleansing treatment. Firstly is that if you are getting any new hair regrowth coming through and your pores are all blocked up with oil and dirt, then some of those hairs might never show themselves. They might sort of get trapped under the blockage. And a second reason is that if you decide to go on any sort of, whether you're going to use pharmaceutical medications or whether you decide to go herbal, if the scalp pores are actually blocked, then they're obviously going to less efficiently absorb any, whether you're using a nutritional type of approach to the to hair regrowth, or whether you're using pharmaceutical medications. Those medications, herbal or pharmaceutical, they're not going to get absorbed as well. So the efficiency of your treatment will obviously be reduced. So yeah, we're very big on deep cleansing of the scalp for those reasons just outlined. Another important point, which we feel our treatment has a distinct advantage, is that what we do is actually providing a lot of essential nutrition, both externally and internally, to nourish hair follicles. So we're tapping on our herbal liquid onto the scalp externally, and we're taking our herbal tablets. So it's providing a lot of good nutrition to those hair follicles. Whereas with so by doing that, you're going to get, over time, you will get improvement in the actual hair condition. Whereas with your pharmaceutical approach, remember your minoxidil is only going to give you a bit of increased blood flow. So you'll get that short-term effect. It's whatever's in your blood will get there. Whatever nutrients are in the blood will go there, and only those. You're not getting any extra nutrients applied, whether it's externally or via taking something internally. So the pharmaceutical approach is just not, it won't actually, might help you with your hair regrowth, to some extent, but you're not going to get long-term improvement in your hair condition, because they've done nothing to improve the condition of your hair. If you give your hair optimum nutrition, then you'd expect that your hair condition would actually improve and regrow as well. So yeah, a couple of the main advantages that your herbal follicular activation approach has over the pharmaceutical approach. In a relatively short period of time, just mentioned here, usually in 2 to 3 months, we'll show you some changes on our photographic comparison analysis. Whereas with the pharmaceutical medications, usually they're claiming within 6 to 12 months you see some visible results. So our approach is, our results usually come quicker. Side effects, I've mentioned a number of those before. I won't go further into those. We do have a slight, a side effect which can occur with application of our liquid tonics, and that is that you might get a slight burning sensation on the scalp after you apply, particularly the stronger ones that we use. It is we have to list it as a side effect, but it's actually, we also look at it as a necessary part of the treatment, because we are stimulating the area, we're bringing more blood into the scalp tissues, and that's exactly what we want to do. So sometimes you need a bit of heat to do that, and that's why the alcohol in the liquids and the those strong stimulatory herbs will actually have that effect to increase the temperature and obviously bring more blood to the area. Also, as I mentioned, just following on the point I mentioned before about the herbal treatment actually improving the condition of your hair, after a few months of using it, of having the treatment, the good thing is that after about a month after 30 days of stopping, if you decide to stop the treatment, you're not going to get a great deal of noticeable hair loss, because we've actually, as I said, we've actually improved your hair condition. With pharmaceutical treatments, within, we've researched and had reports from clients of ours that within 2 to 4 weeks, most of the hair that regrew just falls out again, because those treatments have done nothing to improve the condition of the hair, and obviously not the condition of the body as well. So I'll just quickly zip through why the herbal approach, the herbal follicular activation approach, is a better option. Well, firstly, effectiveness. We've got a 99% success rate, and we've done a clinical study back in January 2004 to show that result. It was a 12-month study between Jan 2004 and Jan 2005, and I'll just show you the results quickly without going into too much detail. Just from here to here, we've got about just over 3% of really good regrowth, 20% of moderate regrowth, and 59% of marginal regrowth, and another 16.6% unchanged. Keep in mind, this study was done over 12 months. If your hair condition didn't regress in 12 months, that's also considered positive, because 12 months is quite a long time, and people that are having hair loss issues very often can get worse within a 6 to 12 month period. So quite a good result, 99%. If we compare that to the clinical results of minoxidil, they're showing around a 60% effectiveness. Finasteride, around 48% effectiveness. So we're doing quite well there. Another positive with our treatment, safety. Okay, we're very safe, all herbal, natural approach. Consider short-term, not just the short-term side effects, such as Keyshaw that talked about the issues he had with the skin on his fingers. Also consider the long-term safety of using these medications, such as we mentioned with those sex drive issues for some of those people. Keep in mind, we've had no major side effects reported in 20 years, which is very positive. We're also a trusted brand. We're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, hair regrowth company in the world. Almost 3,000 employees worldwide. Number of clinics throughout Asia. This is a really big. The products that we use, that brand is a huge company throughout Asia. Been on the international market for 40 years and 20 years in Australia. And the brand's also won 13 international first place awards in countries like France, Belgium, China, and the US. So that's pretty much all I've wanted to go through today. Hopefully you learned something about problems you can have with pharmaceutical hair regrowth. I hope you've found it informative. And we hope that you'll consider an alternative option, which is our herbal activation method. And you can certainly get more information at www.ozhair.com.au. We've got a really nice website which goes through a lot more information that I've mentioned tonight. So please get on there and have a look and learn more about what we do and what else is on the market. What we'll do now for the last 10 or 15 minutes is we'll have a guest speaker coming in who's our nutrition consultant. He'll be presenting a couple of interesting topics regarding nutrition and essential nutrients and hair health, and possibly nutrients that will be important for regrowing hair. And also he'll mention some things about organic eating, which is a very interesting topic these days. A lot of people are interested in eating good, clean, fresh food. So we'll get that all set up, and then I'll hand over the mic to our guest speaker. So just bear with us for a minute. We'll get everything organised.
Okay, thank you, Nick, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Nick mentioned, I am a nutritionist, and the team here at the Australian Hair and Scalp Clinic have invited me down tonight to be a part of their seminars and to provide you guys with some nutritional information that will hopefully support you during your treatments here at the clinic. And if you're someone who's thinking about coming down into the clinic, just to know that there is also some nutritional support that's available for you as you're going along your treatments. Now, this is the first seminar that basically taken part with the Australian Hair and Scalp Clinic. So I wanted to keep my topics quite general this evening, as already mentioned. If there are some things that you are particularly interested in hearing about the upcoming seminars, just let the guys know. They can pass the information on to me, and hopefully in the next couple of seminars we can present those topics that you are interested in and would like more information on. The first thing I'm going to talk about this evening, and this will take up a majority of the presentation, is the nutrients that are required for healthy hair. So I'm going to go through each of the main nutrients that we need. I'm going to talk about why they're important, what they do, and also the food sources of where you can find them. So we'll get straight into it. So the condition of your hair is an outward sign of your inward health. And the cells that make up each strand of hair require a constant supply of key nutrients. So I guess you can only expect as much from your body as what you're putting into it. So if you are only intaking a very basic amount of nutrients in order for your body to perform at its very basic level, then you can't expect your body to be performing at its peak condition. And just in terms of looking at the hair, so when your body is undernourished, you have little changes that are constantly going on in the body, and it takes a little while to build up, but eventually that will manifest in different ways, and one such way could be hair loss, hair shedding, dry and brittle hair, things like that. The first nutrient we're going to talk about is protein. Now, hair is made up of protein, so there needs to be enough of it in the diet to ensure that the hair is remaining strong and healthy. Deficiency of protein can result in hair that's dry, brittle, and weak. And if your protein intake is really low, deficiency can actually cause hair loss. Now, protein sources, if we're looking at animal sources of protein, luckily dietary protein sources are abundant. Animal sources, we've got chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, and dairy. And your vegetarian sources, you've got nuts and seeds, beans, and spinach. How much protein do you need each day? Unfortunately, that's not an easy one to answer. It does depend on gender, on your life stage, and other medical conditions, but we'll touch on that a little bit later on. Our next nutrient, we're going to look at iron. Now, this is a really important nutrient for hair growth. Low levels of iron, which is known as anemia, can contribute to your hair loss. Anemia is more common in women than it is in men. Now, the hair follicle and the root are fed by a nutrient-rich blood supply. And in anemia, and this is when your iron levels are falling below a certain point, the nutrient supply is disrupted, which will affect the growth cycle, and it can lead to hair shedding. So I guess one way to think about it is if you're thinking of a plant in a garden, if the roots of that plant aren't being fed, if the water and the nutrients aren't actually going into it, then the plant is not going to grow. And it's exactly the same with your hair. If the nutrients aren't getting there, if the blood supply isn't actually getting to where it needs to be, then you've got hair shedding and weak and brittle hair that can result. Our food sources of iron, we've got our red meat, fish and chicken, and vegetarian sources, whole grains, green leafy vegetables, beans, nuts, and tofu. Vitamin C. Now, this is an antioxidant nutrient, which means it's going to help to curb any free radicals that are floating around in your body. Vitamin C is essential for producing collagen, which is a connective tissue that gives structure by holding tissues together, such as the tissue in hair shafts. Your food sources of vitamin C include citrus fruit, kiwi fruit, capsicum, berries, and dark green leafy vegetables. Now, when we talk about vitamin C, we talk about the relationship between vitamin C and iron, because vitamin C can actually aid in the absorption of iron. So it is recommended that you can take those foods together in order to increase the absorption. On the other hand, though, calcium and dairy products can actually interfere with iron absorption. So it's recommended to separate the dose by 2 hours to prevent any decreased absorption from happening. Move on to vitamin A next, which is another antioxidant nutrient. Now, vitamin A helps to fight free radicals that can be damaging the health of your hair. Vitamin A helps to produce healthy sebum, which is an oily substance created by the scalp to keep the hair from drying out. So essentially, it's like a conditioner for the scalp that's just keeping it nice and oily, and stop it from drying out. And without the sebum, you can experience an itchy, flaky scalp and also dry hair. Our food sources of vitamin A are your yellow and orange coloured vegetables, so your carrot, pumpkin, and sweet potato. One thing to keep in mind with vitamin A, it's true with most nutrients, but particularly vitamin A, excess consumption can actually be just as bad as not getting enough. So if you're getting in too much vitamin A, it can actually lead to hair loss. So make sure you know what your daily limit of intake should be, and that is coming from food and also supplemental intake. Vitamin E, once again, another antioxidant nutrient, and this is fighting the free radicals, and by doing that, it can help to slow premature aging and prevent the hair from turning grey. Vitamin E is useful to stimulate the growth of capillaries to promote your strong, healthy hair. Vitamin E, just like skin can be damaged from the sun, hair can actually also be damaged if it's got too much sun exposure, so vitamin E is useful to protect the hair from that potential damage. Our food sources of vitamin E include sunflower seeds, almonds, avocados, and green leafy vegetables such as spinach, chard, and mustard greens. Next, we'll look at omega-3 fatty acids. Now, these serve a variety of functions throughout the body and are really important. One of its functions is as an anti-inflammatory agent. So this can help to open the hair follicle and to promote healthy hair growth. Now, as Nick has mentioned, and I'm sure you've heard if you've been into the clinic before, if the hair follicles are blocked, then the hair is going to have a lot of trouble actually coming through. So as an anti-inflammatory agent, it helps those follicles stay open so that the hair can do what it's meant to do and grow the way it's supposed to. Omega-3 fatty acids also contribute to sebaceous glands, allowing the scalp to become lubricated and feeding the hair follicles. Our dietary sources of omega-3, our best sources come from our deep sea oily fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel. You've also got nuts, seeds, and avocado. One thing to keep in mind with omega-3s is your omega-3 and omega-6 ratio. Now, both are essential fatty acids that the body requires, but omega-6 are actually pro-inflammatory in the body, and it's really important to keep the omega-3, omega-6 balance in ratio, as I said. The typical, an ideal ratio, I should say, is from omega-6 to omega-3 should be anywhere from 1 to 1 to 4 to 1, but a typical Western diet could be anywhere from about 15 to 1 to 20 to 1. So it's really important to bring those omega-6 levels down and boost your omega-3s to keep them in balance and just to curb any inflammation that could be going on and contributing to blocked follicles and compromised hair growth. Zinc. I guess zinc is one of those super nutrients. It's required as a cofactor for hundreds of different reactions in the body, which essentially means that if zinc wasn't present, then the body would not be able to perform a lot of the functions that it does and it needs just to survive. Zinc plays a part in the oil-secreting glands that are attached to the hair follicles, as well as cell production, tissue growth, and repair. If you've got zinc deficiency, some common symptoms include dandruff and hair loss. Our food sources of zinc, these come from seafood, which is particularly oysters, beef and lamb, chicken and pork, spinach, pumpkin seeds, nuts, and beans. Look at selenium next, which is another antioxidant nutrient. Now, selenium can prevent damage from free radicals and also support and enhance the immune system. This will support the body's ability to maintain its normal functions, such as healthy hair growth. Now, selenium is really important for thyroid function, and this plays an important role in the health of hair, skin, and nails. Often people have issues with all three of these at the same time, and if you are noticing a problem with these, dry skin, flaky nails, suboptimal hair growth, it is just maybe a wise decision just to get your thyroid looked at as well. It's just a simple blood test you have when you go and see your doctor, just to rule out that could be the reason for your hair growth issues. Low levels of selenium can lead to hair that is dry and brittle. Our food sources include seafood, chicken, lamb, beef, whole grains, seeds, and particularly Brazil nuts. Biotin is our next nutrient, and this is vital for cell proliferation, so it's a valuable nutrient for growing healthy hair. Biotin helps in building amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, and hair contains keratin, which is a form of protein, which is why the above is so important. Biotin has been shown to increase hair elasticity and protect it from drying out. Now, a lot of the supplements on the market at the moment for promoting hair growth and healthy hair are actually biotin with a few other key nutrients in there. So it is definitely a very popular supplement out there at the moment. Your food sources include brewer's yeast, whole grains, nuts such as almonds, pecans, peanuts, and walnuts, eggs, especially the yolks, dairy, liver, meat, fish, and most of your fresh vegetables. Finally, we're going to talk about water. Seems like a simple one, but a majority of people don't actually take in enough water every day. For an adult, around about 2 litres is the minimum you should be aiming for. Water helps to flush toxins out of your body. So you want anything that your body doesn't need and needs to get rid of, the water is actually going to help get rid of that so that it's not actually remaining in your body and causing any damage. Water helps to keep the hair hydrated from the inside out, and low water intake can slow the natural growth cycle and also dry the hair out. So, how much of each nutrient do we need each day? It is not an easy question to answer, and the reason for that is that it's all going to be based on individual circumstances. Like I mentioned before, there are factors that can influence this. Things like gender. So typically males require higher amount of nutrients than females. It's not always the case, but generally speaking it is. Life stage. So a young adult is not going to need the same nutrients as someone going through menopause or someone of elderly age. The requirements are going to be very different. Medical conditions. For example, somebody could have a condition where their body is storing excess iron. So for someone like that, you're not going to be giving them the same dose of iron that you would a healthy young person. So you have to take all these factors into consideration. And so with that in mind, you need to do your research and always speak to a professional before you're self-prescribing any supplements. Anything that you find online, anything that you read in a magazine, even if you've got advice from someone, if they don't have medical knowledge, you really do need to make sure you get some proper advice before you go ahead and start taking anything. As I said, it's very individual, and you need someone who's actually going to go through your medical history with you, talk about what your concerns are, talk about any conditions that you have, things like that, just so that they can actually come up with a plan that suits you. And it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. So that's just a really important point that I wanted to stress. For this second part of the presentation, I wanted to touch on the benefits of eating organic food. Basically, we've spoken about the key nutrients that are essential if you want to be promoting that healthy hair growth. But organic food is really important. It's become very popular. A lot of trends around at the moment about eating organic food, and health food shops and health spokesmen everywhere. So basically, you're taking in all these nutrients that you need, but if the quality of the food isn't as it should be, you can actually really be fighting an uphill battle, essentially, because your body has to fight extra hard to process these chemicals and pesticides that are in the food. So I guess the main thing to consider is that the cleaner the food and the less pesticides and chemicals that it contains, the better it's going to be for your body, and it's going to allow your body just to perform at its peak and just basically let it do what it's meant to do. So why do people choose organic food? We'll just go through a couple of the reasons. Firstly, it's better for you. Organic food has been shown to contain more antioxidant compounds. So some studies have shown that anywhere from 20 to 70% more antioxidants in organic food compared to regular food. So that's one reason people do that. People say it tastes better. I guess that could be it's a natural taste. It tastes the way it's supposed to, and it's free of chemicals and pesticides. Some people are concerned about animal welfare when choosing organic food. They say that the animals are better looked after. They're fed proper food. They're allowed to wander around in their natural environment. Healthier animal, and then and that translates into healthier food for you. Environmental care. If the foods aren't being sprayed with chemicals and pesticides, and that isn't actually washing back into the water, into the environment and causing a lot of damage there. And as I said, avoiding chemical residues. So organic is less toxic and less pesticides on your food, which obviously is important for a lot of people. Some tips on choosing better quality food options. So there's just a few things we'll go over here. Firstly, looking out for farmers markets in your area. Now, these are really popular at the moment. Most Saturdays or Sunday mornings, you'll be able to come across these. The benefits: locally grown fresh fruit and vegetables. So you're going to get those fruit and vegetables that are free of pesticides and chemicals. They're going to be better for you and just nourish your body the way it's supposed to be nourished. Buying locally helps to support your local industry. This is, more important for some people than others. Apart from supporting your local industry, buying locally means that you know where the food is coming from. If you're buying food that comes from overseas, then not only do you not know how it was grown and what it's sprayed with, etc., you don't actually know what's happened to it from leaving that country before arriving here. So it's just a really good feeling to know where your food comes from and exactly all the processes it's actually gone through before you're eating it. When you're buying meat from a farmer's market, it's often healthier and it's also quite reasonably priced. So that's also a good option to consider. The next thing is to visit your local health food shop. Now, these guys buy their fruit and vegetables in bulk, so they can often sell organic fruit and vegetables to you at a very competitive price, if not the same price as supermarkets. So really good thing to keep in mind. Duck down to your local health food shop, look out for their specials. And yeah, the benefits of you're getting organic food and you're paying the same price as you would in a supermarket. Not always, but there are some particular health food shops out there where you can get that. Just looking at your meat and fish now, what I would say about that is to establish a relationship with your local butcher or seafood merchant. That way you can find out where their products are coming from, how they were raised and how they were fed. Now, basically your local butcher is competing with your big supermarket chains out there, so they're going to do whatever they can to get your business. They're going to be more than happy to talk to you about where their food is coming from, how it's raised, and it's within your right to ask. And, no one's going to bite your head off for asking these questions. You've got a right to be concerned about your health and need to know, I guess, some basic information about the food that you're actually putting in your mouth. So strike up a relationship and, yeah, get your meat and fish. Now, I know that it is not realistic for me to go off and tell you that you need to go off and buy all your food organic from now on. It's not realistic. It's not going to happen. It's expensive, all of these reasons. So the one thing I'd like to kind of just touch on before I finish up is if you're thinking about making some changes to eating organic food, or you don't know where to start, you'd like to start slowly, you need to budget it in somehow. Maybe one of the things you could start with is your fruit and vegetable intake. Now, there's a couple of lists that have been put together by the Environmental Working Group. One of the lists, which I'll pop up in a minute, the first list is called the Clean 15, and the second is called the Dirty Dozen. So as I said, it's from the Environmental Working Group. So the first list, the Clean 15, these are the 15 fruits and vegetables that are the lowest sprayed with chemicals and pesticides and have been proven safe to eat straight off the supermarket shelf. Things like asparagus, cabbage, papayas, sweet corn. You can safely go off and buy these without having to worry about it. On the other hand, you've got the Dirty Dozen. Now, these are the 12 fruits and vegetables that are the highest contaminated, and it is advised that you should be buying these foods organic if you can, just because of the high levels of pesticides and chemicals, which could be quite dangerous for you if they're building up in your system. Things like apples, celery, spinach, strawberries. They've also added a couple of extra to that list. These are available on the internet. You can just Google the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, or you can go to the Environmental Working Group website and print them out, maybe stick them on your fridge or take them in your bag when you're going shopping, just so that you know what to look out for. And I think they're a good place to start if you're looking to make some positive changes to the way that you eat. Reducing your pesticide and chemical consumption is obviously a very great way to start. So just to summarise what we've gone over, eating a balanced diet ensures you're providing your body with the essential nutrients that it requires to perform at its peak, which includes promoting strong and healthy hair growth. Ensure the foods that you're putting into your body are as clean as possible and free from chemicals and pesticides to prevent damage to your body and inhibit any interference with the normal growth cycle of the hair. And as I've said, never self-prescribe medications or supplements. Always seek professional advice, because it can actually be quite dangerous when people just start taking medications or supplements without really knowing what they're doing. And that is the end of our presentation for today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, mate. I'm sure everyone got a lot out of that. Some really good information there. The great thing is it's always out there on YouTube, and people can if they missed anything, if they came a little bit late, they can always get back on and play the video again. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us this evening, and we'll see you in a month's time. Thanks.
Is it all right?
Yeah, beautiful. No, that's all we want. Yeah, that's it.